Want to build a cold caller that actually sounds human for free? In this step-by-step tutorial, I'll show you how to use n8n and Vapi to create a realistic AI voice agent that can not only handle calls, book appointments, but also never miss a lead. No coding experience required. Let's get started. First things first, let's take a quick listen what it actually sounds like.
Hi, Anthony. This is Alex calling from Apex Agent Systems. I know this call is out of the blue. Do you have a minute? We help companies like Apex Agent Systems to reduce their sales cycle by 25%. Excellent. Your meeting is confirmed. I'll send a calendar invite over right away. Thanks for your time. Looking forward to speaking.
Pretty incredible, right? So here are the only two things that we need to go ahead and get this set up. Number one, we're going to need a free n8n account to basically set up the automated workflow. And number two, a free Vapi account to go ahead and set up the AI voice agent. Let's go ahead and get everything set up. All right, so let's go ahead and go to n8n and click on Get Started for Free. Once you've logged in, you could either build it one by one, or if you want to save hours of time and headache, go over to my Skool community, then click on YouTube Prompts and Templates, and then go ahead and click on the post that I'm going to make so you can go ahead and just download all those files and make it extremely easy for you. All right, so once you've downloaded the files, go ahead and click on these three dots, then click Import from File, and it's going to be called Cold Caller Master Template.json. So go ahead and open that up, and bam, there you go. You have just imported and finished the n8n workflow. Now I'm just going to go through node by node to explain exactly how everything's going to work. So first things first, as you can see, it's saying that we need to set the time zone in the settings. So go ahead and go over to these three dots one more time, then click on Settings. Here's where you're going to be able to set your time zone. So since for me, it's going to be America, Chicago, I'm going to go ahead and look for America, Chicago. Then go ahead and click Save. Once that is done, the next thing to do is click on this one to show you how it's working. Basically, every day at 11 a.m., I'm going to schedule to start the workflow automatically. After the workflow starts, we're going to go to a quick node over here where we basically enter in some of our information in order to make the call using the Vapi assistant later on. After that, we're going to use a Google Sheet node where we're basically going to get all of the leads from our Google Sheet in order to make those calls. And this is what your Google Sheet should look like. It should have columns like first name, company name, job title, and things like that. And if you need help making this automatically and find thousands of leads every single day, go ahead and check out the link that I'm going to attach here. So back in n8n, all we need to do is go ahead and select the document from the list. So for me, it's going to be called Research, and the sheet is going to be called Sheet 1. And the only filter that I need to do is basically, I need to create a filter for columns where the call sent column is going to be equal to no, because I only want to call people who have not had their cold call sent to them yet. And then after I call them, I'm going to change the value to yes, so that the next time that this runs, it's not going to call the same person every single time. After that, we're going to use a limit node to limit the number of people that we're going to call at any given time. So here I'm going to set it at 100. Now, just for demo purposes, I have it set to 1 here, but usually it's going to be something like 100. After that, we're going to use a loop node so that basically after it makes the call, it's going to update the Google Sheet saying that that person has been called. Then it's going to wait for 1 minute before basically looping back over and continuing the cycle. So in order to make the automated calls, we're going to use an HTTP request node. I'll show you what that looks like. But basically, it's just going to be using a post request to Vapi's endpoint that basically starts the call. And like as you can see here, we're just making sure that we're passing in our API key so that it's able to make the call using our account. So after that, we're going to use a Google Sheet node to update the call sent column to yes. I'll show you exactly how to do that. Basically, just make sure that you choose your document from the list and also choose your sheet from the list like we did earlier. And then we're basically going to map each column manually. And it's going to be matched based on the LinkedIn URL column because that's almost always going to be unique. And then basically, we're going to go down over here to the call sent column and just go ahead and set it equal to yes. And finally, we're going to use a wait node that basically just waits 1 minute before making the next call, because obviously we don't want to make hundreds or thousands of calls at the same exact time. Otherwise, we're going to basically go over our concurrency limit, which for Vapi is defaulted to 10 lines at any given time. So now that you understand how everything works, the last thing that we need to do is basically fill out the configuration using the keys that we found earlier. So we're just going to need to get our Vapi API key, our Vapi phone number ID, and our Vapi assistant ID. So go ahead and go over to a website called Vapi and then hit sign up. Once you've logged in, we can go ahead and create our AI voice agent. So go ahead and click on create assistant. Now the assistant's name is going to be AISDR. Then go ahead and click on create assistant. The model that we're going to use is called GPT 4.1 mini. This is the most reliable model that I found during all of my testing. The first message mode here is going to be assistant speaks first with model generated message. That just means that we can go ahead and include that down here instead of over here. The system prompt is basically the instructions that we're going to give our AI agent so that it knows exactly what to do. Now, again, you can go ahead and write this one by yourself, but if you want to save time and headache, head over to my Skool community, then go ahead and find the post that I'm going to make, and then just go ahead and download those files and make it super easy for you. Once you've downloaded those files, go ahead and open it up. It's called cold caller prompt master template.json. Then all you need to do is click on Control A to select all, Control C to copy, and go back over here, Control A to select all, and then Control V to paste. Then just go over here and hit publish to just save it real quick. Now for the instructions that I've written, all you need to do is basically go over here and update the configuration settings. So for example, the business name is going to just replace it with your business name. So in my case, Apex Agent Systems. And then input your time zone. So in my case, it's going to be America, Chicago. Then let's go ahead and set the duration of your meeting. In my case, it's 30 minutes. And then you can name your AI whatever you want. In this case, I'm just going to name it Alex. Just keep it real simple. And then the key benefit that you're going to be providing to your clients. So in my case, I'm just going to leave it as the primary outcome you deliver, which is going to be reducing sales cycles by 25%. So I'm just going to clean that up a little bit. And then we're going to enter the number one pain point that your clients are going to be looking for. So a common industry problem, for example, inconsistent lead flow. Let's go ahead and stick with that. And then pain point number two. So in my case, it's going to be sales reps spending too much time on manual entry. So as you can see, it's really easy. Go ahead and get that set up. And basically what the instructions are doing is it's saying you are AI name, a friendly and professional appointment setter for business name. And then it's basically just going to go through the conversational playbook of, okay, well, here's the customer's name, here's the customer's company, right? It's going to say, hi, customer name. This is Alex calling from Apex Agent Systems. I know this is out of the blue. Do you have a minute, right? And I'm going to show you the entire conversation later on once we finish setting everything up. So the next thing that we need to do is basically set the temperature. Now, what is the temperature? It basically means how crazy you want your AI agent to be. So it ranges from 0 to 2. If it's 1, it's usually, in my opinion, too high. 0.5 is literally the highest that I would ever go. Usually I found the best results to be around 0.4. So I'm going to set it at 0.4 today. Next, we need to go down and set the voice configuration. Now, this is where we're going to be able to choose a voice and make it as realistic as possible. So before we continue, let's go ahead and hit publish just so that everything's saved. And after that is done, let's actually go over here to the voice library. And this is going to allow us to basically test tons of different voices to see which one that we like the most. So I'm just going to do a real quick demo of a couple of these and see which one that we like the best.
We make our own fortunes and we call them fate. Yesterday's home runs don't win today's games.
Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. Hello, I'm Beth. I'm a very
All right, so those were not bad, but I have a better suggestion. What I usually do is go over to this search bar over here and type in realistic or just real. And then basically that'll allow you to filter for voices that are battle tested in order to be realistic. All right, so let's go ahead and test some of these out.
Looking for a conversational, real New Yorker? Let Donnie spice up your content all the way from Brooklyn to the Bronx. Let's get it going, baby.
And one more.
Don't be afraid to go out on a limb. That's where the fruit is.
Pretty incredible, right? Let me know in the comments which one you think is the most realistic. For this demo, I'm going to go ahead and choose Donnie, the real New Yorker. So in order to do that, go ahead and click on copy to clipboard. And as you can see, it's just going to copy the ID to your clipboard so that we can go back over to the Assistance tab, scroll back down over to the voice configuration, and then go ahead and click on provider is equal to 11 labs. Then go ahead and click on voice. And all we need to do is paste in the ID into here, and it's going to allow you to basically choose that voice that you just found. So click on that. All right, so now that the voice is done, go ahead and hit publish to save that really quickly. Now go down a little bit, and this is where we need to add the tools to our agent. Now, what type of tools do we need to give our agent in order to allow it to do what it needs to do? Well, I'll show you that real quick. Go ahead and hit select tools. And since we don't have any tools there, we're going to need to go ahead and create some. So click on create new tool, then go ahead and click on create tool. And then we're going to create a custom tool. The first tool that we need to give our agent is going to be called check availability. This tool will allow our AI agent to access our Google Calendar in order to check the available slots in our Google Calendar. So in order to set this up, go ahead and slide down to the parameters. And this is where we tell the AI agent what this tool is and exactly how to use it. So easiest way to set this up is go ahead and go to the visual editor. And this will allow us to paste in some code in order to set this up in 5 seconds. So go ahead and go back over to the files that you downloaded and then click on check availability.json. Then go ahead and click Control A, Control C, click back over here and hit Control V and then apply. And then if you want to check what it looks like using no code, you can actually click on Visual Editor one more time. And it'll just say that what we're searching for is we're looking for a parameter called initial search date and time. And this red dot just means that's required. And it's going to be of type string. And then if you really want to see, you can click on this pencil mark over here. And this is basically just what it means. And the point of this is just so that the AI agent knows that we're asking to collect a full ISO 8601 date time string. And this is basically going to give it an initial start date, after which we're going to look for availability in the calendar. So if that's too complicated, I understand. So just go ahead and hit apply and then go ahead and hit save, and that's all completed. Now we're going to need to give it one more tool. So go ahead and click on create tool, custom tool. And the second tool that we need to give our agent is going to be called book appointment. And as you can probably tell, this tool is going to allow our AI agent to book appointments into our Google Calendar. So again, easiest way to get that set up is go over to the parameters, then click on Visual Editor. Then go back to the files that you downloaded from my Skool community and then click on bookappointment.json. Control A, Control C, go back over here, Control V, and apply. Now again, here we're just looking to collect the client's name, the end date and time of the appointment that they're trying to book, and the start date and time. And obviously that's just going to allow us to have enough information to go ahead and book that appointment into the calendar. So once that's done, go ahead and hit save. Alrighty, so now that our tools are all created, we just need to go back to our assistants, scroll down to the tools section. And the point of this is we just need to give the tools that we just created to our agent. So go ahead and click in and then hit select all, and that'll basically select the tools that we made and then hit publish to save that. All right, now once that is done, the next thing that we need to do is go ahead and create a new phone number. So go ahead and click on phone numbers, and then we're going to click on create new phone number. Now the nice thing is you can create up to 10 free US phone numbers for absolutely no cost. So that's actually crazy. So you can actually go over here and just enter in any area code that you want. I'm just going to use 424 for this example. Then go ahead and hit create. And then there you go. You just got a free phone number, and it's just going to take some time to load, but that's okay because we're going to need the time to set up anyway. So go ahead and scroll down to the inbound settings. And as you can see here, it's saying that this is our phone number and that this is our assistant. Now, if we were trying to do an inbound AI receptionist, then you would actually just click here and select the assistant and then choose it. But since this is actually an outbound caller, meaning we're making calls from this number, not taking incoming calls to this number, then this actually doesn't matter, and we could just leave it as select assistant. So now the important thing that we do need from here is it's going to be this ID right here. So at the top, as you can see, it's just going to have this really long number. Go ahead and click on this copy button. This is basically the phone number ID that we need to give back to n8n. So let's go back over to our n8n. As you see here, it's just asking for our Vapi phone number ID. So go ahead and just replace it over here, and that's done. All right, so as you can see, it's also asking for a Vapi API key and a Vapi Assistant ID. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the Vapi Assistant ID. Go ahead and go back over to Vapi and click on Assistants. And then while your assistant is highlighted, meaning we've selected that assistant, as you can see here under the name, it's going to show this really long ID. And this ID is going to be our assistant ID. So go ahead and click on this copy to clipboard button here. Just make sure that it's copied. Go back over to n8n and then replace this here with your assistant ID. The last thing to do is go ahead and get our Vapi API key. So go back over to Vapi. And then here on the left, you can see a toolbar called API keys. Go ahead and click on that. And the API key that we need for this is called private API keys. So we're just going to go over here to the right and then click on copy ID. Then go back over to n8n and then input it over here as your API key. All right, so now that that is all set up, all we need to do is go over here and click save. And then we're going to turn it to active. Now, remember that when this workflow is active, every day at 11 a.m., it's going to go ahead and run this workflow, and it's going to make those 100 calls to those leads in your database. But this workflow is only responsible for making the outbound calls. We need another workflow that will be responsible for setting the appointments into your Google Calendar. So go ahead and click on create a new workflow so that you basically see an empty canvas like this. And again, the easiest way to do this is go ahead and click on the 3 dots, click on import from file, and then we're going to import the file called appointment setter master template.json. And bam, in just 5 seconds, you were able to import the workflow that allows us to basically check the availability in the Google Calendar and then book the appointment into the Google Calendar. So the way that this works is we're going to start with a webhook trigger. And basically what that means is whenever the Vapi agent makes a tool call, like checking the availability or booking the appointment, it's going to send the data over to here. And the way that we do that is we're going to connect the production URL to the Vapi server URL. So go ahead and double click on this and then click on production URL and then click on this a couple times, just make sure that it's copied. So once we have that, go ahead and go back over to Vapi and we need to give it to our tool call. So go ahead and click on tools. And then for each of our tools, we're going to go to the server settings and then paste it for the server URL, like I said earlier. So just paste it like that and then hit save. And just repeat that for the second tool. So just go back over here and click save and then hit save. Now that that's done, go ahead and go back over to n8n. And the next node that we're looking at is a configuration node. And obviously it says edit me. So we're going to have to double click over here. And here, all that we need to do is basically set our time zone. So I'm going to set it to America, Chicago. All right. And then after that, you can go ahead and change your work hours. So for me, starting work at 9 a.m. and ending at, I think that's 5 p.m. or whatever. And then just change the duration of your meetings and things like that. After that, we're going to use a router node. And the point of this is it's going to read whether the tool call is going to be called check availability or if it's called book appointment. If the name of the tool is called check availability, then that's how we know that our AI agent is trying to check the availability and it's going to route the workflow over here so that you can go ahead and check the availability in the Google Calendar. On the other hand, if the name of the tool call is called book appointment, then we know that our AI agent is trying to book the appointment so that we can route the workflow down here and book the appointment into the Google Calendar. All right, so go ahead and double click on Get Google Calendar Events. And here we're just going to set our credential. If you haven't already, you're going to click on create your credential. I'll just link to the video that I show you how to do that. And then you're going to select the calendar from the list and then just choose your calendar to get the availability from. And after that, we're going to use a code node in order to calculate the potential slots and make sure that you do not change the code inside of here. After that, we're going to filter the available slots. So basically, we're going to take the events that were in the Google Calendar. Then we're going to calculate the slots. And then from the potential slots, we're going to subtract the events that were in our calendar. And that's basically going to give us the available slots. Finally, once we have the available times, we're going to respond back to our AI voice agent, basically letting them know what times are available. After that, the caller is going to probably book an appointment. So once they ask to book an appointment, it's going to route the workflow down over here. And we're going to look to book the appointment into the Google Calendar. So go ahead and double click on here. It's going to automatically populate over here. So if not, just go ahead and click the credential that you need. Then for our calendar, we're going to choose it from the list. And then we're just going to select our calendar from the list. Now, just for demo purposes, I'm going to book it into my demo calendar. And then after the appointment has been booked, we're just going to respond with a booking confirmation, something like, your appointment has been successfully booked. And of course, it can actually do many of other things. For example, if you want to send SMS or email confirmation, it can do that. If you want it to speak any language on the planet, it can do that as well. If you want it to do any of these, it can do that. So if you want to learn how to do that, go ahead and visit my Skool community down here to get all the templates, prompts, and one-on-one support. So now that that is all done, go ahead and click save. And then again, just make sure that you set the workflow to active so that it's actively listening for information that gets passed over by the AI voice agent. So the last thing to do is to give it a test. So to do that, I'm going to go back over to my database and I'm basically going to change this so that I'm not actually calling anybody right now. So here I'm just going to say first name is going to be that. The last name it doesn't actually use, so we can just get rid of that. Email, I don't think it doesn't use any of this. It needs the phone number, so this is where I'm going to enter in my phone number. It does also use the company name, so I'm going to enter in my company name. It does also use the job title, so I'm just going to enter in the job title. It does not use this. It uses the LinkedIn URL, so I'm going to leave that. It does not use the email subject or the email body, so I'm going to go ahead and delete these. And finally, it does use the call sent column, so I'm going to make sure that this is set to no. All right, so now that everything's set up, what I can do, instead of waiting until 11 o'clock in order for this to automatically run, what I can do is I can just hit execute workflow down here, and it's basically going to do a test run.
Hi, Anthony. This is Alex calling from Apex Agent Systems. I know this call is out of the blue. Do you have a minute?
Yeah, what's up?
Great, thanks. The reason for my call is that we help companies like Apex Agent Systems to reduce their sales cycle by 25%. Often when I speak with other CEOs, they mention challenges like inconsistent lead flow or sales reps spending too much time on manual data entry. Is either of those a priority for you right now?
Yeah, actually they are.
That makes sense. Based on that, it seems like it could be useful to explore this further. Would you be open to a short follow-up call to dive deeper on whether this could be a fit?
Yeah, that sounds all right.
Great. To get started, what day would be best for you?
Yeah, could you go ahead and see if we can do next week on Wednesday?
Okay, on Wednesday, September 3rd, I have 2 available slots, 10 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. Would either of those work for a quick 30-minute call?
Sure, let's do 10 a.m.
Perfect. And just to confirm, the full name for the invitation is Anthony, correct?
That's right.
Okay, Anthony, I have you down for Wednesday, September 3rd at 10 a.m. Is that correct? Excellent. Your meeting is confirmed. I'll send a calendar invite over right away. Thanks for your time. Looking forward to speaking.
All right, have a good one, man. All right, so as you can see, he was able to automatically book that appointment just from doing a quick cold call. So now you have a fully functional AI cold caller that can call all of your leads and recover lots of lost revenue for your business. If you want to go ahead and get those files, go to my Skool community. And again, go to the YouTube prompts and templates. I'm going to make a post where you just click in and go ahead and download all those files. By the way, if you have any questions, go to the community discussion tab where you can ask any question that you need to, and I'll go ahead and get you all the answers that you need. And if this was helpful, smash that subscribe button to learn more about AI voice agents every single day. I will see you in the next video.